Let's talk about perception is reality. So, my Body Shop family, this message is for you. Matter of fact, one of the things that happened to me years ago, I went to this fellow's shop. His name was Mark. Great guy. I go into his shop, and the front is beautiful. And I walk through the front doors, and it is immaculate. The floor, you could eat off the front office floor, right? And so the counter where the CSRs were sitting, it looked like a spaceship. It was amazing, right? I was like, wow, that is incredible. And then he had these glass offices, and just everything was just dialed right in. So he takes me through, and we're walking through the front area, and he's like, why don't you come in the back shop? So we go through behind the CSRs, and we go through this little hallway, and then he opens the door into the back shop. And it was like stepping into 1970. I mean, everything was old. It was dirty. It was antiquated. The paint booth, friggin' paint booth. Somebody had backed into a corner. There's like a kink in the side of the paint booth, like a dent in there. And I'm looking around, and I'm like, Mark, like, what is going on here? I'm like, this looks terrible back here compared to the front office. And what he said next truly astounded me. He says, Ryan, perception is reality. He says, the people never get to come back here. My customers never see the back of my body shop. He says the days of where, remember when customers used to come around the back of the shops and you'd like dust your pants off after sanding a car and you go and talk to them? Those days aren't here anymore. He says, matter of fact, all they ever see is my front office. And that's why I put all that money into making it look pristine, because that sets the perception, and the rest of it is reality. They think the entire shop looks the same. I sure did. I thought the same thing. So perception is reality. And I was like, man, that's really interesting. He says, well, what we're doing next is we're looking at our digital presence. We're looking at our website. That is now, a lot of people are no longer coming to the shop. They're dealing with us virtually, right? They're getting estimates from us virtually. We're sending them back paperwork virtually. You know, our website, our digital presence is the new perception. So looking really good online is a huge perception. So to share another story to piggyback on that, I had a 3-store MSO in Texas, and they were doing, one of the insurance companies that they're doing work with, they were basically a fulfillment center. They never touched the customer. They were just pumping large volume through these industrial warehouses, basically, in this backwoods industrial park that no customer would ever want to drive to. So this insurance company decided to change their model, and overnight, they lost 100% of their business in all 3 locations. It was gone. It's gone, because that's what they were. They're a fulfillment center for the insurance company. They had no connection to the customer. It was empty. And they were having a hard time, because they're like, how are we going to get a customer to drive into this industrial area? They're just not going to do it, right? So again, perception is reality. So what we ended up helping them do is to move their presence online and to create a model that is like a VIP model. So we ended up going to, they're in an area where there's a lot of medical facilities, right? So we went to all the hospitals, and we worked with them to create a VIP program. So this is like for doctors, for nurses, for people who have more money than they have time, right? And it's all about convenience. So we would do things like set up the photo estimate tool. And so that way the doctors and nurses could document the damage. They could assess it remotely. And then what they would do for the VIP medical program is they would bring a loaner car or rental car to the hospital and literally drop it off and bring the keys to reception, pick up the doctor's keys, go in the parking lot, find their car, right? Bring it back to the shop, fix it, return it. So they ended up setting this up with a whole bunch of medical places all over the place. And this is how they really accentuated. But online, it looks amazing. It's an incredible experience, right? Incredible digital experience. Now, the shops are still back in an industrial area, but this is how they save their bacon. This is how they save their business, right? And so finding ways to bring perception is reality. They charge a premium. They charge a premium to these doctors. And by the way, and to these nurses. And by the way, they don't just do it to them. They do it to executives, C-suites, we call them, like C-level executives, right? So they've done this and gone to all the business parks, and they have a VIP program. And we'll pick up the car, we'll fix it. And by the way, when they find an upsell, additional damage, they reach out and say, hey, we noticed the front bumper's scraped or what have you. Very rarely do they even get asked the price. It's just, yeah, go ahead and fix that while it's there too. Right? So perception is reality. And so think about that in your business, in your body shop. How can you use that? How can you build a digital presence? How can you build it so that it looks like, hey, this is an amazing front end, because for your customer, that's a lot of times the only thing that they're going to see. If you need any help, if you need any tools, if you need any assets to help you with this kind of thing, please reach out to my team. We're always standing by to help you. Thanks, guys. I hope you enjoyed that.